I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
Who are you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers. No more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. We've ended the war on American energy. We were in war. And we've ended the war on beautiful, clean coal, one of our great natural resources.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
They felt pretty comfortable after day 2.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother.
Sam, if I could just get this sentence and go and kill 15 kids tomorrow. Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow.
So notice something. I defended him on his bad joke because I have standards and I have principles.
No good, really bad for you.
Get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I
eat. 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company. They're coming all over the place. They're coming all over. Coming all over. Coming all over. Coming all over the place, all over the place. Coming all over the place. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. Once they think they can get in, they're coming, and they are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet. They weren't coming because they couldn't get. Weren't coming because they couldn't get in.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs. I got hairy legs. And it get hot. I got stand. And it get hot. I got hairy legs. I got hairy legs. Get hot. I got hairy legs. I got hairy legs. And it get hot. I got hairy legs. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
In person, in my office, in Philadelphia.
They're coming all over the coming all over the place. Coming all over the place. Coming all over.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It Motherfucking All, folks. Welcome. This is the show. It's happening. I'm here, and that's step one of the show, is for me to show up. Now, I genuinely I'm honestly quite an impressive track record with showing up, so step one is usually pretty good. The only time I've missed a show in, like, I think the entire year, the only time I've missed a show, was when I had court, so I think I'm doing a pretty good job. But you know how it is. I'm a pro. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to win. It's not like I'm, necessarily... I'm just that good. I don't know what else to say. So we got a show for y'all today. We got a show, and it exists. So, we're gonna get to the show, and it exists at this current moment in time. Did I cover the January 6th hearing? I did not, and probably will not. Unless there's anything that people see that they think I should cover, but I don't have time at the moment to watch an entire hearing. I mean, I do, I guess, technically. I just don't want to. So that's another thing. All right. So let's start off with the recap. I'm here for the host's self-confidence. Thank you, Big Ol. Big Olamio. Thank you. If Andrea is the host, does that make us the parasites? Yes. Starting to see that there's a coalition involved in many of the marches for Medicare for All through Twitter would make you think it was solely driven by Twitter YouTube warriors. I'm going to discuss the March for Medicare for All more so today. So I got some other footage from the Los Angeles March that I'm going to be using to talk about. And then they did this really embarrassing showcase where they went to AOC's office while she was in Washington, D.C. We'll get into it, folks. Don't worry. I am planning on getting into this. Just, I'm doing the recap first. This is my job. Local news, folks. I don't know what to tell you. The death march for Medicare for All. I mean, they're really trying their hardest to kill the fucking policy movement. So, I mean, it's sad, but what are you gonna do? I guess I'm gonna make videos about it. That's what I'm gonna do. But all right, folks. Just adjust that. All right, so yesterday was day 97 in the city of Elizabeth City and the county of Pasquotank County, over the protesting over the police murder of Andrew Brown Jr. So we did another sidewalk demonstration yesterday through downtown Elizabeth City, and another classic day of walking on the sidewalks through downtown on a very nice evening. It was about to rain, so a lot of people were trying to rush home and get out, so it was actually very busy traffic-wise and foot traffic-wise and, just regular traffic-wise. It was relatively busy. And so, we did a pretty good job. And as we were walking, some people joined us along the way. Some people left along the way. It was just kind of like we were just a roving band of protesters going through the town, making a ruckus, screaming for justice. And so right now, we're in this phase of the protest where we're just kind of doing it every day. And again, I mean, we've been doing it every day. But, you know, we're just doing it every day. And we're also trying to build momentum and to get the word out for Thursday, which is day 100 of the protests, where we have done a demonstration for 100 days in a row with no breaks. And so that's pretty impressive. And so Thursday will be day 100. So we're just kind of punching in the time until we get to day 100. And we're hoping that we have a pretty big demonstration on day 100. So we will see about that. And of course, I will be there to cover it. And so yeah, we've been going downtown through the sidewalks and disrupting restaurants and downtown businesses, and also people driving, you know, getting across the bridge and going into town. They take this route. So it's a very optimal spot. If you're going to do a sidewalk demonstration, you get a lot of people. And so, you know, again, it's been pretty good. As we were finishing up the march, we ran into this very interesting situation where there were like a bunch of cop cars, as you can see. Now I don't know, actually really know what happened here, but I think there was like a car accident, and for whatever reason they brought like 9 cop cars out. It was incredible. There was like I'm not even joking, there was like probably 6 or 7 cop cars out here. And so I just kind of filmed this as the protest ended. And it was really bizarre. I've never seen a car accident get so many police. But I mean, you know, it was interesting. And so, but nothing happened. You know, everyone's fine. Everyone went home, I guess. They gave him a ticket at some point. I don't really know. But either way, the protest was good. It was another solid day of another solid demonstration. And again, we're gearing up for day 100. That's coming on Thursday, July 29th. And it should be pretty good. And I hope to see you there if you're in the area. And if you're not, you know, feel free to come down, I guess. I mean, Alice Love, A799. Hello from Australia. Thank you. Hi. How's it going? Thank you. Consistent dogged. I do love dogs. Max, where are you? Max. Okay, he's sleeping behind me. I do love dogs. Repetitive and on message. This is what real grassroots social organizing for change looks like. Well, you're speaking in very high praise. I hope that I'm doing a good job. Dogged. I don't even know what that means. Like I can't even translate that into something that makes sense outside of the fact that you're just referencing I have a dog, which is true. I do have a dog. His name is Max, and he's a dog. PayPal won't work for you? That's no good. I'd like to remind everyone that, again, you know, the end of the month is coming up, so if you want to back me up, you can give me some money on Patreon. But I'm going to link all my shits in the chat, and if you want to give me money, it's an option. And if you don't want to, that's cool. And that's, you know, you do whatever it is that you do. But it's an option. Like, I'm just like, you know, I'm just throwing it out there. You know, and so if that's something. Dogged. Past tense of dog. When you dog in the past. Pronounced dogged. It means tenacious. Dogged equals determined. Yep, I'm dogged. I don't know. I'm definitely dogged. That's for sure. Please support this show. We need this. I need this. That's going to be... I'm going to frame that one. That's going to be my fundraising. In fact, you know, endorsed by the Letter Hack. I'm making the tweet right now. Boom. It's official. Found Andrea through damage report. Amazing human. Was I on the damage report? When did that happen? I drank a lot this weekend, so, you know, I might have forgot a few things, but I don't recall going on the damage report. I've been trying to get PayPal to work for 2 hours. I've just given another, like, just, you know, just do it tomorrow, and if you still have the same problem, I don't know. But whenever I get that kind of thing, I'll just say, oh, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Sometimes it just works the next day, sometimes it doesn't. You know, but what are you going to do? Yeah, what was my mention? Scoop me. Not seeing super chats in the same way I used to. Support Andrea if you can. I just, you know, want to give I much prefer getting money on PayPal, Cash App, or Patreon because I get a much larger percentage. And so, you know, if you want to support the show, I would prefer to do it that way. But, you know, just throwing that out there. Meanwhile, Choking on Ashes 61, 5 pounds. Don't want Google to have a third. LOL. Heart emoji. Thank you, I appreciate that. Didn't I do I mean, again, I drank a lot this weekend, so I might have, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do that. But I'd like to. Why not? Right? Like, I'm open to it. Feel free to, you know, field any and all requests to my secretary, which is also me. I'm my own secretary. But yeah, so we got a show here, folks. Like, there's a whole show. I got an entire show here. So I'm gonna, you know, maybe get into the show. It's possible. I might get into the show. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't get into the show. I don't really even feel like doing a show. Alright, y'all. See ya. Psych. Just kidding. Oh man, I got you. I got you? You had no idea. Y'all motherfuckers were like, is this show over? No, it's not over. Like, how could you have fallen for that? A few weeks ago, I mean, if you want to find the video, feel free, you know, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do that, but I might have. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, you came here at some, you know, in some capacity, right? So it's very possible that that's how. But I think the last time I appeared on another show was Ben Dixon's show, I think, if I remember correctly. When is Steven Crowder coming on? Steven is scheduled for tomorrow, but I know his lung collapsed, so he might have difficulties making it. Well, my heart skipped a beat. Y'all motherfuckers are dumb as hell. Anyway, so, I'll give more on PayPal. I mean, thank you, Choki. I appreciate that. Alright, so yeah, we got, you know, we got some scoops. There are some scoops here. And, we're gonna get into the scoops. So... There's a new Chantel Brown corruption story in Newsweek. When is that election, by the way? Is that today or like next week or some shit? I think it's soon, isn't it? Alright, folks. Atlanta police officer suspended after video appears to show him kicking handcuffed woman in the head. What on God's green earth? A police officer in Atlanta was suspended after video posted online appeared to show him kicking a detained woman in the head. What is appeared? I've got the video right here. Like, do y'all want to see it? It's right here. Appeared. I mean, I guess it literally does appear that that's what happened. Because that's what happened. I guess it literally does appear that way, but Lord have mercy. The video was published on Instagram on Monday by the account Atlanta Uncensored, which said it took place in the Summer Hill neighborhood after a, quote, domestic incident involving an unspecified other person. It shows a woman face down on the ground with her hands restrained behind her back. 2 officers, a man and a woman, stand near her. At one point, the woman raises her head and the male officer appears to kick her with his right foot. I mean, it appears that way. That's true. It does appear that way. The caption from Atlanta Uncensored said this woman was, quote, kicked in the face by an officer after she spat on his boots and pants. Good for her. The video does not capture any sound from those involved, but it does include the reaction of a person farther away. Insider is embedding the video. Readers should note that it depicts violence and also shows the woman partially clothed. A third off... What is that, partially clothed? I mean, I guess she is literally partially clothed. Like, she does have clothes on. And she's wearing shorts. So I guess she is technically partially clothed. But what the fuck? Who writes this shit? A third officer approaches from behind a patrol car just after the kick. The video is about 6 seconds long and does not show the events before or after. In a statement, the Atlanta Police Department said one officer in the video, a sergeant, was placed on unpaid suspension pending an investigation, and another officer was placed on administrative assignment. Neither officer was named. We need the names immediately. That's not even up for debate in any capacity. Upon reviewing the video, the actions of the sergeant appear to be unacceptable, and we also are concerned with the apparent lack of reaction from another officer present during the incident. Again, if I handcuffed someone, threw them on the ground, and kicked them in the head, you know what would happen? I would get criminal charges. So the unpaid, unpaid leave. Well, they're on administrative duty. Where's the criminal charges? What's going on here? What's happening? Does anyone know? Can anyone, discover? Did I miss a line? Is the paragraph missing? And criminal charges were brought? No, I didn't see that anywhere. The police said, I don't give a shit about what the police said. Blah, blah, blah. Police department said, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Alright, but anyway, obviously you can tell this shit is ridiculous. Again, you cannot reform the police. This shit needs to be abolished. We need to start from scratch here, folks. This shit is just, again, I want to remind everyone, 40% of cops beat their wives, 80% of cops voted for Donald Trump. These motherfuckers are freaks of nature, and you cannot reform this. I mean, again, the entire inception of police are slave patrols, motherfucker. That's how they started. That's how they got here. Look how much power they have. These are just regular human beings, folks. These aren't these aren't special, superhumans. These aren't gods and angels. These are regular human beings that think that they have the power to beat the shit out of other human beings just because they wear a specific colored uniform. Nah, bud. That's not how it works here. But anyway, so abolish the motherfucking police and fuck these motherfuckers. That's all I got to say. Scrolling through Google News, folks. Four children dead. Mother and teen daughter stabbed to death. Whoa, 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 folks. Breaking motherfucking news. Breaking news. Actually, let me read this first before let me verify what's going on here. Alright, never mind. Whoa! Just kidding, there's 2 in a row. Amazing, let's see if this one's any better. Alright, folks. Alright, folks. Officer down, folks. Officer down. Selma officer killed in shooting identified. Let's watch.
Welcome back. At 6:47, we have some breaking news to pass along. Just coming into our newsroom this morning, a Selma police officer has been killed. Another person injured after an incident early this morning, according to the
I like how
Dallas
this
County
guy is
District.
smiling. Like, even he's excited. Check out the
Has been
smile.
killed. Another person injured after an incident early this morning, according to the Dallas County District Attorney Michael Jackson. It happened at the Selma Square apartment complex area. That officer has not been identified so far, and the other victim was taken to the hospital. We have a reporter heading to Selma right now to learn more. We will pass that along as soon as we get any new information.
Amazing. So, yeah, there's some shit going down in Alabama. I don't really care what's going on, but I just like that headline. So, officer down, folks. That's all I got. All right. Giant hail, 80 miles per hour. Alright, folks, let's get into this, March for Medicare for All thing. Maxie! My doggy was hiccuping. Alright, so a YouTuber by the name I'm Really Important, I don't know anything about them, but I found the video and it seems pretty good, went to the March for Medicare for All and caught up with Fiorella Isabel after her microphone was cut and she was censored at the March for Medicare for All rally in Los Angeles. Now, first of all, I want to say, I think that a lot of very, very, very noble and good people are organizing in this March for Medicare for All. I very much so disagree strongly with a lot of the head organizers and a lot of the speakers. I think most of the mainstream, like, popular speakers that they've been advertising are pretty horrible people, from Jimmy Dore to the Convo Couch, you know, to Nick Brana, to all these other kinds of people. I think most of them are pretty bad. But that being said, I just want to say I do support people organizing. I know that this can be a potential founding, you know, protest for people, like, you know, people's first protest potentially, and so I support anyone and everyone protesting. But we have to understand, I think that it's very, very clearly the case that this march is being utilized, and basically the only reason it even exists in its current form is because of right-wingers in sheep's clothing trying to profit from it. So with that being said, I'm Really Important caught up with Fiorella Isabel after she was censored by big tech and big pharma, and so let's check this out.
Because I guess I was getting...
Alright, I gotta turn the fucking volume up. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the motherfucking phone. I hope I don't get demonetized from this fucking... background music.
I'm gonna continue doing journalism.
No, What is in the future for you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to continue doing journalism. We want to do more on the ground stuff. I went to Peru. I want to go to Cuba. You know, they cut my mic off because I guess I was getting too anti-imperialist, anti-authoritarian.
Right. So now, again, I covered her little speech moment when the mic got cut off. So now again, this is confirmed. I mean, this is beyond the shadow of a doubt. Her mic was censored because she was getting a little bit too anti-imperialist. I don't know what that means. Now, I want to remind everyone that Fiorella Isabel does not support Medicare for All. She did not support Bernie Sanders in the 2020 primary, and as of a week ago, she was in Twitter arguments basically defending the idea that Medicare for All is not important. Basically saying she does not agree with the policy of Medicare for All. She says that she wants universal health care, but she doesn't want it to be subsidized by the government or some... I don't know. Anyway, she's also part of a podcast where the co-host was kicked out of the march for COVID conspiracy theories. So, very, very interesting. But she's also anti-imperialist. Now, my question, right, is what does being too anti-imperialist mean? To me, I feel like there's, I guess, degrees, right? But it's like, what would be the dividing, like, okay, so, you know, you want to decrease the military budget like 99% instead of 97%? Is that too anti-imperialist? I don't know what too anti-imperialist means. But anyway, let's go on.
Yes.
And what, you know, we all are for Medicare for All, but that's not the end of the fight. Our government hasn't been successful in any way with anything. What makes us think that just getting that is going to be it?
True.
We need to continue fighting for as long as we can for whatever.
So that I do agree with. I do want to say I do agree with the idea that Medicare for All isn't the only thing we have to fight for. But I'm very excited to know what Fiorella Isabel also wants to fight for. So let's continue.
Squad members that aren't doing jack shit.
I think that they're...
So I'm under the impression that I'm really important is doing this ironically and asking silly questions ironically to get them to say stupid shit. So the question here is the squad. Basically, they're a bunch of losers, so let's watch.
Public relations specialists, narrative managers, they're only there for their careers.
Yep.
They're not only there for photo ops. We'll see what Cori Bush does now, because I do applaud her for going there.
Yep.
We'll see what she does going forward, because you know what? They haven't at all promoted the march. We have Nina Turner and AOC doing an event the same day. They knew this march was organized since January.
Wait, Nina Turner too?
Yes.
She's not doing anything today?
No.
So, okay, now, for those of you that don't know, Cori Bush was heckled and yelled at the March for Medicare for All in Washington, D.C., and then basically someone, said, forced to vote, forced to vote, forced to vote, forced to vote, right? And so basically she was like, yikes, I'm out of here. And so that's what Fiorella Isabel is referencing here. But, you know, again, these people, obviously Cori Bush is only in it for photo ops, you know, like, I mean, if you've seen anything she's ever said, if you were in any capacity paying attention to her primary run and all that other stuff, you would know that she was only in it for photo ops. She is not a left-winger. She's a neoliberal shill, obviously. So let's continue.
She's doing an event with AOC earlier. She did it at the same time the march was going on, 2 hours away. But this event in Ohio was organized months ago.
Damn.
So they knew, and they've been contacted with the organizers, and they knew that this was happening, and they chose to make an event on the same day at the same time.
What is their excuse for not...
I mean, okay, now let's be honest here. It's Saturday. Like, there's 7 days a week, right? Let's be honest here. There's 7 days a week. Saturday, when you're going to do an event and you want to get as many people there as possible, Saturday is typically the best day because it's the weekend. A lot of people are off, right? So, okay, so you're telling me someone in an election that ends in 2 weeks is campaigning. There's 2 or 3 Saturdays left before the election, and they're campaigning on a Saturday? Wow. I mean, that's crazy. So,
pushing Medicare for All.
Actually, according to the Washington Post, which Nina Turner just did an interview with, she said that they have to push for policies that are achievable right now, not projects that are... That's what she said, and you can check out the Washington Post. I think Dave Weigel is the one.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so not my favorite guy, but he was actually able to ask her some good questions.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. So to me, that's another way of saying it's pie in the sky. You know, wait.
Okay, I'm so confused by this. So, okay, Nina Turner says we got to push for what we can get right now. Now, again, I need everyone to understand. Medicare for All will not pass Congress or be signed by the president as the Congress and the presidency is constituted right now. Not going to happen. I'm just letting you know, it's not going to happen. So what Nina Turner is saying is they're going to do as much and maximize the progress as possible and then fight for next elections to get more people on the co-sponsor list to get Medicare for All at some point in the future. Now, again, the common response to this is, oh, we can't wait. Yeah, I know we can't wait. I'm right there with you. I'm not like, I don't have insurance. Like, my insurance is going to run out in like 6 months because of the 26 age cutoff. Right, so I'm right there with you. I'm freaking the fuck out about that shit. But at least I understand what's actually real here. And there's actually a long-term strategy. Not even a long-term strategy. If all these people that did the march were also spending their energy trying to get more co-sponsors on the legislation, they would have a better net effect than what they're doing right now. Having a march in all these cities is great for the photo ops, absolutely 100%, but it's not organizing people into doing anything in any sort of term that's actually going to get us what we need. Why don't people organize marches to maybe get government subsidies from their local, maybe like, organize marches in states that have an expanded Medicaid, for example, something that can happen now, like they can just, they can try their best to pressure the governor. That's the thing that they could do. Why don't they do that? But they're all doing these marches here, and then they're funneling all this righteous anger into something that's useless. Like, it doesn't do anything. So, and that's my problem here. And then they're saying anyone who's trying to do something, we don't have time to wait. We don't have time to wait. We don't have time to wait. Well, I mean, you're going to wait regardless. Like, if you don't have time to wait, then maybe go live your life and spend your last moments with your family instead of doing this bizarre shit online. But, like, again, I need you to understand that they're trying to funnel people's righteous anger into something that's unproductive.
Wait your turn. That's another way of saying it. We don't have time for that right now. If they didn't give us healthcare during a pandemic, what makes you think that they're going to give you healthcare willingly? It's time for direct action. It's time to take to the streets. We're not going to get this from electoralism.
You were a big fan of Tulsi for a long time.
So, again, Medicare for All is a policy that Fiorella Isabel does not support, by the way. It is a policy. How? Now, I genuinely, if we're not going to go through electoralism, hey, I'm an anarchist, right? So I'm down with this. What is your alternative? Are you saying it is more likely that we have an anarchist communist revolution and then somehow manage to take over the government and then somehow manage to institute using the governmental apparatus to give us universal health care? Or, like, are we gonna capture all the doctors and force them to treat people? Like, I'm genuinely asking. If, without going through the electoral strategy, how do you accomplish a universal healthcare system in the United States of America as it's constituted right now? I'm genuinely, like, if you, like, just march in the street, like, you get health insurance or something, like, you just attend 60 protests in a row and then you get health insurance, is it like an achievement on an Xbox game? I'm really trying to figure this out. I just don't know. I have no idea what their alternative is. And so again, they're saying, don't support any politicians. Politicians are evil. Politicians are evil. Just join our march. Subscribe to me on Patreon. They're not giving you an alternative. I'm down with direct action. I do protests all the time. So I'm willing and ready to do some direct action. But where's the ideas? I really just don't know.
Time? Are you still on board with her? What is she up to?
I like Tulsi. I voted for Bernie in the primary. I like Tulsi because she was more focused on foreign policy, and I felt that was lacking in Bernie's campaign. She's no longer in
Congress. She's no longer in office.
Yep.
I think she said some great things about Elon Musk and how he is, how the wealth gap between the rich and the poor has widened. And I think it's left to be determined to see if she's actually going to be on board with some of the more leftist policies, like not just Medicare for all, because she had her own thing, which was very similar to the Australian system, but just consistency on being anti-war. I'd like to see that. I think we need more of that.
Like, that's the thing. I don't understand this anti-war thing. I'm going to speed the video up a little bit, folks. But, like, this, like, Tulsi Gabbard was not anti-war. Like, that's another, like, hardcore, like, you've never opened a book in your whole life kind of conspiracy theory.
Because all of these things are connected.
Yep.
Anti-imperialism is where all of our money is going, and all of our attention is, from the government is going there, and we're not giving people what they need. So, meanwhile, we're invading and bombing these countries, yet the American people aren't even seeing it. It's only the oligarchs that
just bombed Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, Somalia as well.
Yeah, is there a politician that you like and are excited about?
No,
not one. Not even Bernie at this point.
No, Bernie had 2 chances to call out the fraud that they did to him in 2016 and 2020, and he didn't do it. People were ready to do that, and now who's calling out fraud? It's the right. The right are the ones fighting for it. We need the left to get on board. We don't have fair elections in this country. I just got back from Peru. They have more transparent and fair elections there. Paper ballots, the fraud that the right are the ones fighting for it. We need the left to. He didn't do it. People were ready to do that. And now who's calling out fraud? It's the right. The right are the ones fighting for it. We need the left.
Oh, whoa. Calling out fraud. The right. I almost missed that. The right is calling out fraud. What? Now, again, I want to remind everyone, Fiorella Isabel is unsure on the winner of the 2020 election. Obviously, as we know, considering it's July, Joe Biden won the 2020 election. But she has been on this beat where, like, oh, well, election integrity, the machines. Who knows about the machines? I don't know who really won. She's been on that beat for a while now. And now she's saying, oh, yeah, the right. They're the ones calling out fraud. Yeah, that would be cool, except the only problem is the fraud they're calling out doesn't exist. In the same way that when y'all call out the fraud squad, that is similarly very bogus because there is no fraud squad. The things you're saying didn't happen. And the world that you live in isn't congruent with reality. So that's really interesting. So the right are the ones that are actually protesting. Okay.
To get on board. We don't have fair elections in this country. I just got back from Peru. They have more transparent and fair elections there. Paper ballots, everything is trackable. Here we don't have that. So to me, it's like if you're not going to fight to make sure that our election system is has an even platform that third parties can come in and do it, then any sort of electoral process.
Now again, she is anti-electoralism, but is now shilling for a third party. How many members of Congress have third parties, that is to say, not the Democrat Party, not the Republican Party? How many members of Congress have been elected by other parties in the last 20, 30 years? Right, okay? How many members of Congress were elected as independents? That is to say, they had no party. More people got elected to Congress as independents, no party affiliation, than having any party affiliation that wasn't Democrat or Republican. So what is going on with this third party bullshit? Like, so they, again, I want you to understand, the movement for a People's Party is just a way for them to funnel energy into something unproductive. How many members of Congress that are left-wing, or at least ostensibly left-wing, as they're saying, got into Congress on the Democratic Party by primarying corporate Democrats? Last time I checked, we got like a solid 10 or so. Right, so like, I'm just letting, and that's only in 2 years versus 20 years versus 30 years. And again, this whole thing with her, like, appealing to the right election integrity, it's a bunch of bunk. Donald Trump's a loser. Why is anyone who's claiming to be a leftist out there defending Trump's fraud bullshit? Seriously, what is going on here? I need you to ask these questions if you follow this person.
Like, the issue right now is I think we have to be on the ground and demand more from our politicians. So
seems like a heavy lift, man. It seems like
so we simultaneously can't expect anything from politicians, but we need to beg politicians for mercy at all times? What? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. The best way, in my opinion, to make the left actually gain institutional power, significant institutional power in the United States, would be to massively educate people so that they are more supportive of left-wing policies and are more educated on foreign policy and current affairs. That's the best way I can think of to actually make actual electoral progress. And that's been happening pretty well. We're doing a decent job of that. Obviously, we need to be way better at it. But that, to me, if your goal is to make progressives and leftist policies win, the best way to do that is by convincing actually everyone that you live around that these are the ways to go. Now, again, that's a harder path. That would require a lot more work. But what is, like, how else do you get a major institutional policy like Medicare for All? You can't throw a soup can at a window and then Medicare for All, we got it. Now, again, I am not saying that I am not in favor of direct action and protesting in that fashion. I'm not whatsoever saying that. I'm saying that this commentary is incoherent in regards to getting Medicare for All. She's just spewing a bunch of bullshit. It's gish gallop.
We need more of this. We need more people to get out in the streets. It starts with something. It started with Force the Vote, where we had like 40, 50 people show up, and then, you know, it gradually grows like that.
It wasn't like Bernie Sanders ran in 2016 on a platform of Medicare. Nah. That didn't happen. It wasn't like in 2017 and 18, Bernie Sanders' coalition and movement worked to elect people like AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida, and they all supported Medicare. Nah. Never happened, folks. It wasn't like, you know, there was a 2020 primary, right? You know, probably the most important election of our lifetimes, and we fucked it up, folks. I'm sorry, but we fucked that up. Right? It's not like they were trying once again to get Medicare for All, and then when Bernie Sanders lost the primary, he used this movement to elect other members of Congress that supported Medicare for All. Nope. That never happened. The world, year one, history starts when Jimmy Dore said hashtag force the vote on Twitter. That's where history starts. Everything before that doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It all started with force the vote. That's what they're I'm telling you this, folks. This is QAnon on the left. They're wrapping you into a fantasy ideology, right? And it has its own unique history. Right? Like, that's what this is. It has, oh yeah, no, nothing happened. No one ever said anything about Medicare for All until Jimmy Dore enforced the vote. People actually believe that. They actually believe that. That, like, fighting for Medicare for All started in December of 2020. They actually think that. Let's go on.
What I really liked about in January when we were there for Force the Vote was that the Assange activists came in and also supported it, and vice versa. And I think that's how you build a general strike. You can't just build a general strike overnight. It takes time and mutual aid, and that's one thing that we have to focus on.
Do you worry about rubbing shoulders with certain people on the right? So, for example, Jimmy did a video about Fauci lied.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've done a video on that, but
yes.
I mean, these are right-wing talking points. That is, I mean, right-wing in the sense that they're using them too.
Yeah.
And does that bother you to be associated with like the right in that sense, or are you like, let's hold hands with whoever the hell we can?
I think acknowledging when somebody is right doesn't mean you're holding hands with them. Okay. I think there's a difference between saying, hey, that person said something right and they may be on the right, to, oh, I'm going to change my beliefs and suddenly become a right-winger. I think the left is too quick to cancel people simply for talking to the other side. And I think people like Glenn Greenwald are getting like canceled for like simply talking about the truth about what really happened on January 6th, which wasn't what was told on mainstream media. I was there as well.
So again, now I'm just speaking for myself here. Glenn Greenwald hasn't been canceled for being a right-wing apologist and propagandist on January 6th. I canceled him for being a blatant transphobe, and he even is against bisexual people. Who hates bisexual people? Who does that? Glenn Greenwald does that. The guy's a loser. He's a freak show. He's out of control, right? And he also engages in right-wing conspiracy theories when it comes to January 6th. So does Ben Burgess, by the way, but that's a whole different story. So, I don't understand. There's a difference. Now, again, is there a phenomenon where people are quick to cancel people and it's probably a bad thing? Yeah, definitely. But to conflate that phenomenon and use examples of people that haven't been canceled is ridiculous. Glenn Greenwald has millions of followers. He goes on Fox News and has a primetime slot on Tucker Carlson's show frequently, which is the most popular cable news show in America. That's not canceled. I'm telling you that right now. That is not canceled. I'm just letting you know. So, if your example And again, this is all, again, taking an actual concern that some people have, cancel culture. Right, an actual concern some people have, and funneling it into stupid shit. Like imagine, oh, yes, this guy with 2 million followers on Twitter got canceled. What? Huh? Meanwhile, Fiorella Isabel has tried to cancel me many, many times. So I'm just saying, like...
I think there's a difference between working towards a goal and me changing my perspective and suddenly becoming a right-winger simply because I said Tucker Carlson has Jimmy Dore on his show, and I think that's a good thing. I think people are...
Now, again, I want to be very clear. Again, another situation where they conflate a bunch of things. Jimmy Dore going on Tucker Carlson's show, is that a good thing? It depends. Now, some people say going on Tucker Carlson's show at all, even if you're combative, is bad. I disagree with that. If you go on Tucker Carlson's show and actually do anything in favor of left-wing policies, I consider that a win. Jimmy Dore does not do that. He goes on Tucker Carlson's show and then says, the Democrats are evil, AOC is evil, force the vote, force the vote. So he's going on there to be the, quote, left-winger that hates on left-wingers. That's what he's doing. That's his role on Tucker Carlson's show, right? And so again, but Fiorella's not going to analyze the nuance. She's just going to go to, again, a sillier argument that maybe some neoliberal politicians or people in the media game think, where you shouldn't go on Tucker Carlson's show at all. If I got invited on Tucker Carlson's show, I'm telling you right now, I would go on, and I wouldn't even hesitate, right? So I'm just letting you know about that. But I also wouldn't go on there and say, force the vote, force the vote, force the vote, blah, force the vote, because I'm not a freak show. I'm not a loser. I'm not like, and so again, this is like, she's given the whole spiel here, and this is why I love this video.
Touchy about those things, and I think, if we're talking about Corona, Fauci did lie, and
all right, folks, all right, I gotta cut it here. I'm not even, woo! Empire Education. Fred Hampton is one of the people. Oh my god. Another common thing is Fred Hampton worked with neo-Nazis. He never worked with neo-Nazis. That didn't happen. Like, Fred Hampton worked with working class people, yes, and they say that in defense of working with literal neo-Nazis. Again, these motherfuckers are crazy. They're absolutely out of control. Okay, we're talking about infiltrating. Let's go.
That was true. That the FBI, yeah. I mean, for the longest time, state agencies have been infiltrating leftist movements because they know that the left is easily duped. The right, it's not a monolith, but they're more able to unite. We saw what happened with Boehner when the Tea Party took over.
Yeah, it's almost like an entire concept, fascism, built around the idea that you follow the leader is more easy to get people wrapped up into than the concept of freedom, where people have their own, free will and can do whatever they want as long as they don't harm anyone else. Right? Oh, if someone is predisposed to worshiping a leader, it might be pretty easy to get them to worship a leader. If people are predisposed to not worshiping leaders and being anti-authoritarian, by nature, it's going to be more difficult to corral them into a single group because of the fact that they're anti-authoritarian. That's kind of like baked in. So again, I don't understand. You cannot learn things from the Tea Party. You just can't. They were funded by billionaires, folks. They were crazy, and they were funded by billionaires. The left ain't funded by billionaires. We can't even agree on a presidential candidate, for God's sakes. What was going on with Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang and that bullshit, and Elizabeth Warren? My God. We can't even agree on a presidential candidate when it was a Bernie versus Biden race. We fucked it up. Because we're dumb. The left in America is dumb. We are fucking stupid. The FBI doesn't need to infiltrate us because we infiltrate ourselves because we're fucking dumb. And we have to stop being dumb. And my problem with left-wingers that listen to people like this is that they are dumb and they're getting dumber. I want people to find my show and then get smarter. Or at least, maybe not from me, but maybe I say something that puts them on a good path to where they don't fall down this rabbit hole. As long as you don't get dumber, because we're already pretty dumb. We're already as a left movement in this country, we are already pretty dumb, right? And we need to stop getting dumber and get much smarter. And that's, I think, and again, I think most people understand that, and most people are working on our flaws. Most people understand the goal, and most people aren't getting distracted. But in the online media world, for whatever reason, this particular brand of person is gaining a lot more steam. The dumb left, the people that get dumber and dumber as time goes by. I know the pandemic fucked with our, with our brains. I know the pandemic fucked with our social lives. But seriously, some of these motherfuckers need to go outside. But apparently also going outside, a lot of them are outside right now. Apparently that didn't do the trick. So it's almost like it got in too deep. I want you to understand, this is not the rabbit hole you go down. They are funneling your energy into something unproductive and stupid. And I'm it's just, it's really silly. And these people are gaining momentum. They're gaining popularity. They are increasing their reach. And that's really bad. Like, that's like a huge problem. And Lord have mercy. She doesn't even support Medicare for All. And she went to the Medicare for All march and is trying to out-left everyone else. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Not only that people will do this and are capable of lying or being so stupid in public, but that people look at it and go, that's who I'm going to follow. I'm going to listen to the Convo Couch. Yeah, that's where I get my news from. What? Who does that? Like, who does that? Apparently they do. But again, it's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. God, I love hyper-analyzing stupid people. I'm sorry, I just get really into it. But I've got there's another segment that we're getting into here. I know, can you believe it? Like, it gets even funnier. Somehow it gets funnier, folks. Are you ready for this? You're thinking to yourself, that was hilarious. What could possibly happen now? All right, folks. So the March for Medicare for All had an after party, and that was outside of AOC's office in New York. The only problem with that? AOC wasn't there. So here's a good tweet that lays this out. I want you to visualize the routes since Saturday. AOC went from Cleveland to DC. Savage Joy and others went from DC to NYC. Nick Brana and others went from Boston to NYC to protest AOC that was 200 miles away. And I've got some video from that, courtesy of Status Quo. Shout outs to them, by the way. So AOC she is in Ohio, and she goes to Washington, D.C. The March for Medicare for All Force the Vote crowd is in Washington, D.C. So instead of protesting outside her office in, Washington, they traveled to New York City to protest outside of an empty office building. And I'm telling y'all, this shit, this is, it's getting hard to handle. Seriously, I have to bust out the soundboard for this one, because it really is, it's shocking. It is shocking. And in the words of our former president,
really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Okay, so I've got this video here, this live stream from Status Quo. And again, shout outs to Status Quo. They do a great job sometimes. So they did this event outside of AOC's office, right? I'm trying to get the chat to not be, visible. But, I guess I can't do that. You don't need to be distracted by such things. But anyway, so let's watch. So here's Nick Brana. Also, the audio here was horrible. Oh my god. So here's Nick Brana, the founder of a movement for a People's Party, a guy who lied about his position in the 2016 Bernie Sanders campaign, and who has basically run an authoritarian party, kicking people out of the movement for a People's Party who disagree with him on things such as strategy and direction. And what he's been trying to do is he's been trying to parasitically attach himself to podcasters such as Jimmy Dore and the Force the Vote crew. And he's trying to parasitically attach himself to that to funnel more power and energy into his party that is ultimately useless and will accomplish nothing. Why, if Nick Brana has the money and resources to travel from Boston to New York City, why didn't he just go to Washington, D.C. and make a protest where AOC actually was? Why did he go to this area, an empty office building, to do this? Well, I don't know. But anyway, he was talking some shit, so let's listen a little.
Incredible! march in more than 50 cities with no corporate
Can you hear
media
this?
coverage, no support, and not a single representative, member of Congress even mentioned it until the actual day of the march. And I don't even think that any of them have still said anything on social media. So the fact that you all, everybody here...
Now again, I don't understand this obsession with social media. Now again, like, if we had an actual march for Medicare for All that actually was trying to be productive and not being controlled by these freak shows, I do genuinely think that the squad would have talked about it. I genuinely think so. But the idea that the March for Medicare for All headlined anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorists, almost headlined a neo-Nazi, right, and then has been, like, basically being controlled and being sheepdogged by these people, made everyone else basically go like, ew. And that's something we need to reckon with. And again, there are people that didn't go to these marches, or the people that did go to these marches, because they genuinely want to do anything that they think they can to get Medicare for All. And I support going to these marches. If there was one in my area, and I wasn't protesting for the thing that I'm protesting in my city, I would have tried to go to one just to try to talk to people to make sure that they don't fall down the pipeline and force the vote, right? These are good people that are being taken advantage of. And Nick Brana is a mastermind at manipulation. So let's check this out.
That pulled that off is really incredible. And you should all give yourself a round of applause.
One hell of an applause, folks.
We have some people here who are true heroes and legends in this movement who's...
Legends, folks. Legends. Like, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. But they're legends. Whoops. And so, like, to me, like, I'm really trying to understand. Right? Again, this is a movement that, instead of piggybacking off of the already existing movement, right, that has been actually succeeding over the last 4 years, that is to say, primarying corporate Democrats and rallying them to get more co-sponsors on this legislation, that is actually working. These people are trying to do like a divergent alternative path where they use less tactics, and the same tactics that they do them worse, and the only reason that they're doing it is because they want to be the leaders of their own little fantasy world. Again, Nick Brana is trying to make a third party. That is, the third party has existed since 2016. Last time I checked, Justice Democrats has existed since 2017. Justice Democrats has been in existence for less time and has not only gotten significantly more done, but gotten literally anything done. Like, they did at least one thing. Whereas the People's Party, so far, they've done nothing. But again, Nick Brana wants to, like, basically excise everyone that's not in the People's Party from the quote-unquote movement so that he can build his own fantasy world where he's, like, the starting, like, he's the mastermind of something. I don't know. It's weird.
Stories they've been courageous enough to share with all of us, with the country, with the world. Very personal stories, including people like Joy, Savage Joy, who spoke at the Force the Vote Town Hall, who emceed the...
So, okay, the Force the Vote Town Hall. Now, again, I said this at the time. In fact, I even did an entire live stream where I watched the entire Force the Vote Town Hall. I watched the whole thing and gave live commentary on every single tidbit. Right? And I said this at the time, and this was my key takeaway at the time. And it's been proven true. The Force the Vote Town Hall, quote-unquote, was literally a podcast. They got no politicians on. They had no questions from the audience. A town hall implies you bring someone on and give them audience questions. They did not do that. Instead, it was a podcast where they basically had like a marathon guest lineup of people that they were friends with to basically yell about how AOC is evil for 2 hours, get drunk, and then and then scream hashtag the vote, hashtag the vote. I want to give you a little like taste of what was going on at the Force the Vote town hall, because I happen to have a video file of it because it's so funny and I use it in my intros. So let's listen.
They're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come out and address my progressive audience. They won't come out and address Bree's audience or Katie's audience or Justin Jackson or you. They are not.
Now, again, AOC and the squad, they've been going after and going on all kinds of media tours. They just ignore people that are crazy. This was the Force the Vote town hall. It was a literal podcast. It was a Zoom call. It was a Zoom call, bro. A podcast. This was not a town hall. But again, let's say you don't know this. All right, I've never heard. Oh, all you know is there was a Force the Vote town hall. And that's why they called it that. They called it a town hall so that it could be called a town hall, and that they could and this is what I said at the time. Go watch my video from January or December, whenever this was. I think it was late December. Go watch my video, because I called it at the time, because I can see this shit, right? They called it a town hall because it sounds professional, and then after it's done, they can put no work into it, because it was a shit show disaster where Jimmy Dore got drunk on stream and made an ass of himself and basically embarrassed the shit out of everybody, right? It was a disaster. But they don't care that it was a disaster. They care that it was called a town hall. And so then they're going to be going out there, the Force the Vote town hall, the Force the Vote. We went to the town hall. We did that town. Remember when we did the town hall? You mean the Zoom call podcast? What? But again, they're going to do this with the March for Medicare for All, too. They're going to do this with this, too. Nick Brana, in 6 months from now, right, is going to be going out there and saying, remember when I went to AOC's office? Remember when we went to AOC's office and we protested? They're not going to mention that AOC's office was empty. They're not going to mention that they went from D.C., where AOC was, and traveled, spent money that people gave them to go to New York City, where AOC was not. They're not going to mention that part, but I guarantee you Nick Brana is going to continue. Remember, we went and protested AOC, that March for Medicare for All, the town hall, man. The movement, the Force to Vote, the movement. Look at this movement. These people live in a fantasy world. And again, I'm not trying to say everyone out here that does these marches is a bad person. I'm saying that those in charge, those leading and directing it, are bad people. And I think that I've done a decent job of showing you why they're bad people. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. Let's have that conversation, because I'm very interested in getting your take so that I can, maybe rethink my analysis on how to convince people like you in the future. But again, this kind of shit is weird. It's character building. It's egomaniacal nonsense. The town hall. Jimmy Dore getting drunk on a Zoom call is a town hall now? What? I'm just like, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. And they're trying to be like, Medicare for All, we're the movement now? What? I don't even know. I don't even know. No, absolutely, Milo. There were great people at these events. I just feel like they could have done their own event without any of these other motherfucking Force to Vote weirdos and had a better turnout. That's what I'm saying. Like, they got funneled into something that's unproductive and stupid. Anyway, folks, that basically, to my understanding, is going to sum up the show today. How's it going? the anti-left. I mean, it's a great term for sure. I'm gonna use the phrase more in the chat when I'm doing the segments, so that I will use the term more. You'll be back in 2 weeks. All right. Y'all have a good one. You're your own worst enemy. Why is that? There's another thing I was gonna talk about that was really bizarre, but like apparently like Emma Vigeland made some tweet about Red Brown YouTubers, and like the Fiorella crowd went after her with like some extremely highly edited content, like clips, and it was bizarre, and I was gonna cover that, but it was just so bizarre I couldn't. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow, but that one was just bizarre. Like, these people are so strange. It's fascinating. Like, I want to put these motherfuckers in a petri dish and just, like, examine them with a microscope. Because, like, it's incredible what they do. Anyway, folks, that's the show. I'll see you tomorrow. Something in a way I shouldn't have. Holy shit. Close call. Close call.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
They're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month. 10 to 12 million views a I get 10 to 12 million views who didn't show up today. Fuckers who the vote. All those motherfuckers endorsing hashtag the vote. Endorsing hashtag the vote. Endorsing hashtag the vote. Endorsing hashtag the vote. Hashtag the vote. Hashtag the vote. All those motherfuckers who didn't show up today at our town hall. Every fucking one of them fuckers hashtag the vote. And who isn't endorsing hashtag the vote?
Sam, if I could just get this sentence out. We could talk about Jimmy. We could talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow. Go and kill 15 kids tomorrow. And kill 15 kids tomorrow. About Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow. And I still believe in force the vote.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.